everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope this is working. You are catching a glare from all the lights, and I don't know why. Sorry about that. So I want to make sure I'm in the right spot. I hope you guys are having a good day. There we go. All right. So it's Thursday, and I wanted to hop in and talk to you guys about my second time management trick. So a few weeks ago, I shared with you guys about one of my favorite things to use for time management. The funny thing is, I've been using it forever. And sometimes the things that we do over and over again that we don't really think of as a hack or a trick or whatever, because we do it all the time, right? So it's natural to us. But I was talking with somebody else, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done that. And that was the use of a timer. So I've used timers with the kids forever. When they were little, I used to set a timer and say, okay, let's see how many toys you can clean up in 5 minutes. And we made it a game. And so that's kind of how I trained them to pick up their toys and, you know, make their bed and do other chores. And then as time went on and our lives changed, I use a timer for other things. You know, bedtime is in 15 minutes, or, you know, I want you to read for 30 minutes. And so the sound and the visual were always really good reminders. And so in that post, I shared one of the things that you got to download was this here. And it is the time management sheets. And I wanted to talk just a few minutes about this, and then I'll share with you my next tip. But you'll notice it's broken into 5-minute tasks, 10 minutes, 15, and then 30. And there was 2 different styles. The reason this is because when you're training your children and yourself to use the timer, you want to start out with something small. So 5 minutes is really good. So the rule, if you didn't catch that post, and I'll share a link with you when I can, when I'm done, is that you work for 5 minutes and then you spend the equal amount of time with your kids. And the reason that is because it teaches them that you're going to be busy, you're going to focus, and they're not to interrupt you for that 5 minutes. Okay, so in my house, because of the type of mom I am, I'm like, if you're bleeding or on fire, don't talk to me. Okay, so you have to set up your own way, right? So be realistic, obviously. But, you know, set that rule. And then they know when that 5 minutes is up, you stop working. So you walk away and you do something with them. And that's kind of the way it works. And as they get used to that, then you can move on to the 10-minute tasks, the 15 minutes, the 30 minutes, and you can go until, you know, you're both comfortable. Now, the key is really be consistent. Okay, so when that timer goes off, you have to follow through. You have to stop working, because they know the second you don't do that, that they're not sure if you're going to keep your promise. And then the guilt is going to come, but you're always on the computer, or you're always on the phone, or you're always working. And so we don't want that, okay? So when you look at these sheets, they're really good for brainstorming. So for me, one of my jobs as a blogger is to do, there's a bunch of tasks behind that I do every single day. So for 5 minutes, you know, I might have a big task of writing a post or researching or pulling together a resource list or whatever I'm working on. And so obviously that's going to take longer than 5 minutes. But what I can do is break it down. So, you know, if it's a resource list, say for science, when I wrote my science post, sorry, my cat just walked out and he's really doesn't like people. Pardon me. So I'm really surprised he's out here, because when I'm talking to you guys, he usually thinks there's a bunch of people. So you may hear a cat and a dog fight in a minute. Just be aware. Okay. So when I'm pulling together, say, the science posts that I have on my site, so in 5 minutes, I know I could go and maybe outline, right? Brainstorm so many posts for science, or so many ideas for science, or look around and see what books we had, what books we were using, that kind of thing. Then I'd go play with the kids for 5 minutes, then come back and move on to the next section. So taking notes and using the lists are a great help in trying to train you and your kids. Okay, So I wanted to explain how to use those. You can get those for free on that post, because sometimes we get something and we don't, we can't really see how to use them. So that is one way you can use those. Okay, so in talking to this mom and telling her that I use a timer all the time, she gave me a great tip I wanted to pass on to you. And that is the use of an index card. Now, I was talking with another mom earlier today, and she said her mom used color code index cards for chores, which I think is great. So this is the size of an index card, obviously. And you'll notice something about index cards. They're small, right? And so she said what she does is she puts her daily to-do list for work on an index card. And I was like, that's too small. There's no way I'm going to fit everything that I need to do for work on an index card. And so, but that's kind of the point and kind of not the point. So the point is, are we doing too much, or do we expect ourselves to do too much? If you work for yourself, obviously you have to answer to clients and bosses and other things as well, but sometimes we get to set what we're going to do that day. And so by using an index card, we can focus on, I can probably fit about 10 things if I put a line down the middle for that day. And so having that list and keeping it small in my mind helps me see that it's manageable. So I had some index cards here that I scribbled on for the day, which I obviously misplaced in like the last 3 minutes. So I don't know. Anyway, so what I do is I put the task, so for this group, I'll put Facebook group. And I try to break being into the group, because I try to get in often on a regular basis, but with my schedule, I don't always get to, which is why I'm so happy that there are so many moderators to help me out. So thank you. I hope you guys really appreciate all the hard work that they do, because it is a lot of work. So anyways, I'll put Facebook group. And I'll also make a list. So maybe it's share something that I found helpful. And make sure I comment and reply and pull together resources to help you guys answer your questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tag somebody who does. So obviously I wouldn't write that all on the index card, because I know what that means. Or I might put something simple like find images for the post. And then I'll use Evernote or Google Docs to keep a running list of that type of thing. So I thought it was really neat, because she said if all your to-do tasks don't fit on an index card, you're doing too much. She said, what can you cut from your list that is absolutely not necessary that you can give up? So I thought that was neat. And I wanted to pop into the group and share that with you guys today. And the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is something I accidentally discovered today. Someone in the group was talking about getting their kids off of electronics, screen time and some of the issues that they're having. Now realize that not everybody has these issues. So when something like this comes up and you have an opinion, by all means offer it, but be respectful and realize that our tone and the way that we say things it's really hard to communicate that in text. So when we type, we want to think, what do I need to hear? Anyways, one of the things that I discovered today is a balloon. No, I didn't discover a balloon, but this is the point of the balloon. So for science today, we had to do a balloon, and we had to put a skewer through the balloon without busting it. And so that was really cool. Anyways, after I was done, I was like batting the balloon around. Do you guys remember playing that game as a child where you pretend that the floor is lava and, the balloon couldn't touch the ground? And a balloon, a simple balloon, if you have older children, obviously, that are, old enough to know that if it busts, not to eat the plastic, is a great way to keep them offline and entertained and doing something physical that's really fun. And I even got to play because I'm like that. But so I had them like draw faces. This one is mine, and you can't really see because it's transparent. I don't know why it didn't show up, but we played with Sharpies. So we got all our colored Sharpies out, drew some faces and hair and whatever, and then we bounced, where you try to keep the balloon from touching the ground. And we went to see, there's all kinds of ideas. So, you can pretend the floor is lava. You can say who can keep it off the floor the longest. You can set up a string or a ribbon across the room and play volleyball. So it's really interesting to see how creative your kids can get, and at the same time, they're not on electronics. So that's just one thing. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. So I would love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Have you tried any of these things? How does that look like in your house? So we can learn and see and get ideas, because you guys are so great at providing really awesome ideas. And I really appreciate all the encouragement and inspiration and support found in this group. So please keep up the good work. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you have a great Thursday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.